The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of OLOS Media or its sponsors.
OLOS Media.
This is Cannabis Enlightened with Dr. Leroy.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Leroy again with another stimulating, dynamic podcast from Cannabis Enlightened. And I got to tell you, this is going to be a dynamic, really interesting podcast. You know what? You got to listen to this all the way through, and you'll probably listen to it a couple of times. Okay, our topic is childcare, and I tell you, in the OLOS Media studio right now, I have some dynamic people that have information that you're going to love. And, before I get into that, though, I want to also state that, as always, our program is sponsored by March and Ash. So March and Ash has got a number of cannabis stores all around San Diego. So if you have an opportunity, please visit them. They're beautiful stores. Okay. Childcare, and this is a subject that I think has reached presidential area. I was listening to the debate the other day, and they were talking about childcare on the debate. So it's very timely that we're going to be talking about it today. And the experts that we have, and they are experts in the field, in their particular area. We have the union, UFCW union, and with us today is Grant Tom, and also Maribel McKinze from the UFCW. And then we have from March and Ash, who's an employee at March and Ash, and also she participates in the child care program, Candice Finn. And then the other part of this, to make it happen, is Laurie Han from the YMCA. She's from the child care program. And she's going to tell us all the little secrets about childcare, what you do and what you don't do. And something that blew my mind a little bit ago when we were talking, how much it costs, because I am completely away from that. And that's probably why it's such an important topic. Now, one of the things that I think they started talking about, even from the presidential debate, was what childcare is. So I want to throw that out there. What is childcare? What does it look like? Is it taking your child to a particular place, or do you have a choice of any type?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have a choice. Childcare looks different for every single family. Sometimes, they want to use a childcare center, which is more of a industrial kind of building or something that's located on a school campus, and that's where children are usually placed in the classrooms based on the ages of the kiddos. There's also, most of them are licensed, but there are some license exempt programs that are not required to be licensed that operate as a childcare center. There's licensed family childcare homes, which are people who get licensed to care for kids in their home. They can care for anywhere from 8 to 14 children, depending on whether they have assistance and if they've done childcare before. And then there's obviously with them, there's limits on how many children under the age of 2 they can have, and they have to have a certain number of children over the age of 6 in order to be able to take 8 children or 14. There's license exempt centers, like I mentioned. Those are usually school-age programs or operated on like military bases, federal government stuff. There's family, friend, and neighbor.
Yeah. So, Laurie, would the first step be to talk with someone like you at a YMCA?
Yes. I think so. We are the YMCA Childcare Resource Service. So I work for a branch of the YMCA called Childcare Resource Service, and we are the state-funded childcare resource and referral agency serving San Diego County. So we only work in San Diego County, but there are agencies like mine in every county of the state, all under community-based organizations, nonprofits are these resource and referrals. We call them R&Rs. And we are contracted through the Department of Social Services to support families with finding the child care program that best meets their needs. But we only refer to licensed centers, licensed exempt centers, and licensed family childcare homes. But we do have resources for families if they want to look for maybe a nanny. Like we can refer families to nanny agencies. And there's also family, friend, and neighbor. Maybe they want to use a family member or, their next door neighbor or their best friend to watch their child. And we can definitely help walk them through like making the choices on what is the best childcare for their family.
Okay. So, Candice, you are an employee of March and Ash, and you use the services that Laurie is talking about, correct?
Correct, yeah.
How does that work?
So I have used it two different ways. I've actually, when I first started with the program, used it with a nanny. And so it was just my child with the nanny, and now we have him in school. And so we're using it for both now, childcare for that. And it's how it's like benefiting us is just to know that I can still go to work and provide for my family and just be able to have my child have that social interactions and kind of an upbringing that he's not just at home all the time.
So what stopped the nanny and then to school? Was it the age of the child or?
It was more to do with the age of the child, trying to, and he was at the age where he could go to like a more of a Montessori school is what we were putting him into.
Okay. And how does that work in terms of, I guess I have to say it, paying for the cost?
That's it is the scariest part, I think, of childcare for any family. Starting off with the nanny portion of it was easier. It is more expensive for us anyways to put them into school. It definitely can really hold you back if you're not ready for those payments 100%. It's the biggest, actually, in our family. It's the biggest bill we have every month is our child care. It's more than our rent and our bills.
Wait a minute.
Put together.
More than your rent?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what are we talking about in terms of the cost?
Well, ours right now, he just turned 2 years old. So he's just kind of in like a daycare Montessori. And it's $19.75 a month. We got a good deal on our rent.
$19.75? Mm-hmm. $1,975
for one kid.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the school.
Oh my goodness! So, what type of relief do you get with that? I mean, do you have to pay that all yourself?
No, you don't. It's actually we have a stipend amount through the YMCA in March and Ash that basically I'm paying about half, a little bit more than half. So It's a huge discount and a huge relief to our pockets and being able to bring them there with not like concerns that we're going to be behind on other payments or that will be taken out because we can't make payments.
So you're paying like $800 or $850, and then the YMCA or March and Ash?
March and Ash is
March and Ash pays as an employer.
Yes, March and Ash makes the payments. We facilitate the payments to the providers as we've been able to do that because we are set up to pay providers. We have been for 45 years as an alternative payment program. So we have the infrastructure to be able to make the direct payments to the providers. And so March and Ash, as part of their collective bargaining agreement, I think is what it's called, put childcare for their employees into that agreement, or the employees did that, I'm not sure. And so each employee can get up to, I think, $4,500 a year towards the cost of their care. Each employee, not just family.
Yeah. So I would imagine, Grant and Maribel, this is a big part of your negotiating, the union, because March and Ash specifically is a union shop. And I would imagine also that other companies that are union, that this is part maybe of what you negotiate or try to negotiate the child care?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what we do. And with March and Ash is a little bit different. Our philosophy at our union, UFCW Local 135, our philosophy is we partner with the employers and we speak on behalf of the members and the employees that work there. And when we created the contract, the agreement, it was like the principles of March and Ash, like Brett, Blake, and John. You know, our values align. You know, when it comes down to it, like my position as a union, we advocate for the workers, and we speak on their behalf. It's the goal is what they're looking for to make life better. And for March and Ash, their principals feel the same way because they're employees. They look at them as assets. And like, you know, what can we do to help them out? And when we created our contract, what in negotiations, we basically created a contract together, you know, with the ideas of the members that were given to us as leaders. You know, we were able to, you know, create that. And it was like, what are we going to do for childcare? And when we negotiated that or created it, we were, you know, we drew it up, not knowing exactly what it would look like, because it's kind of conceptually. I don't think there's any CBAs or contracts, collective bargaining agreements that unions and employers negotiate that have that element in there.
So what was that word you CBAs?
CBA, collective bargaining agreement. That's collectively we bargain in agreement, the contract. Yeah. And that's the employers, you know, like the principals, they're signing on. It's like, this is what I agree to. This is my promise to my employees.
I have something to say to that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, with being with March and Ash for a long time now, the owners, they are all family guys, and they come from families. They all have young kids. They do really recognize like how difficult it can be to manage and balance work and new family life. And a lot of the employees that we have here being awesome. It's really cool that we have a young company. We have a young new families. So we have a lot of first-time parents here at March and Ash. So they're just now realizing how it is to try to keep working and kind of juggle all the family responsibilities as well. So having something like this, it's like a huge support and weight off their chest and shoulders to feel like they can do that. And like having a company that supports you having a family and can be there for you for that is just a great feeling to come to work and have a family.
Yeah.
Is that something unusual, you know, from a union standpoint, to find a company that
we partner with different companies in different ways. This is very unique. And
for cannabis companies.
Yeah, for a cannabis company, you know, the idea that our values align, what we create for it, education, childcare. It's really important to support the workers because we know what the cost of health, childcare, what it is today. How do you even survive? You look at the cost of food, everything like that. We're trying to create many things. How do we create a healthcare program that benefits the employees? And we're working on that right now still. But, you know, that's a whole different subject matter. But, you know, for childcare, you know, it's like, we're proud of this. And then I remember when we created it, it was like, who do we get to help this process along? And it's like, it's tough. You know, it's like, how do we make this? And it was a challenge. And then we found the YMCA. It's like, hey, can you facilitate this program? And they're like, hey, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And they aligned perfect. And that's where our partnership came together and the program was created.
So it's
something that I want to add to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is, also, this also came up because there was a lot of concerns during COVID times. This is when this kind of picked up, when a lot of people had to choose whether they came to work during COVID or they ended up staying at home because of the cost of childcare was so much money. And for some people, it was going to be the same amount of money that they were going to make coming to work as they were going to pay for childcare. So this is actually when that came up during around COVID times. Yeah. And that's when we definitely partnered up and we realized how much of a high cost for childcare was.
So is this something every company deals with, or is it just that new for the cannabis industry?
You know, I think the challenge is definitely for everyone, but as far as the system and having the childcare stipend, the program that March and Ash and the contract that was created is unique. Nobody out, I believe, in cannabis has this. Even in retail, medical, nobody has this.
So you're telling me no other cannabis company, and in San Diego at least, or can I go California?
Well,
San Diego County?
yeah,
Maybe
San Diego
we'll-
for sure.
We'll just stay San Diego County.
Yeah, I've never heard of this anywhere.
Wow.
Like in any contract. I have a database of various contracts of different types that I went through to look for language and to try to see some structure where I can build from.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
That's magnificent.
So if there's something out there, somebody needs to enlighten me. I haven't seen anything.
Well, and Brett
Wow.
wanted to make sure that the program benefited his employees to the max.
Yeah.
So families that have kiddos in school and they didn't need childcare during the year, they can actually use their benefit during the summer for summer camps. So it didn't need to be used. It wasn't cookie cutter. It's not, one size fits all. Everybody's going to get payments exactly the same way. They can use it to maximize their own benefits and what's going to meet their family's needs.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that this child care can be used to send a child to camp?
Day camps,
Day camp?
I think overnight camps, but I know day camps for sure.
And correct me if
That's
I'm wrong,
great.
is the program also per parent? So
Yes.
say you have a mother and a
Yes.
father working here in March
Yeah.
and Ash,
Yes.
you get double the
Double the coverage.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to
It's not per family, it's per employee.
Yeah.
I want the listener to know I'm amazed at
Yeah.
a lot of this, and I am a board member. So if you two parents and they each have a child, or you have two children,
They share the same child.
share the same child, you
They-
can.
both mother and father work at March and Ash. They have
Right.
one kid. They each get those stipends for
Double
their
the
one-
coverage.
They each get the stipend.
Yeah,
So that
towards the
means
childcare.
it's fully paid.
Could be
Am I,
close.
Am I? Well, I'm just adding up 800 and 800.
Well,
it could
I
come
mean,
close.
Yeah, it depends on
Okay.
you could put them in a really nice school.
Okay. So, and Candice, your child goes to school now, right? You were saying
He does.
he
yeah.
does. And can you tell us the name of that school?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's called Kid Ventures Preschool Academy. They have two different campuses. Mine's in Liberty Station. Okay. It is wonderful. They do have a lot to go. That's why it's a little pricier. But they keep it to 10 kids in the classroom for his age, and they do a lot of really cool things there.
Wow. So, Laurie, do you come across any unusual types of daycare facilities that are, I mean, a little bit different?
There are programs that operate. They do different curriculums. They might operate smaller ratios, and they may require more education. They're all very different, and that's part of the reason as the R&R, we really encourage families to look at childcare programs. So talk us through what they're looking for, and then we offer what we call like a concierge kind of enhanced referral, where we'll call each program and say, hey, we have a family that has a 3-year-old. They need care Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They're allergic to dogs. Can we verify that there's no dogs at the program? Do you have an opening for that age group? Get all the details and make sure that they match. And then we can give that shortened list to the family. So the family's not calling 30 programs to find 5 to actually go out and physically see. It is definitely recommended that they see the programs, not just choose one online. But we do also offer a lot of what we call consumer education materials, which are resources on what to look for when you're choosing a childcare, what's going to be the best fit for your child, questions to ask, things to look for, looking at the licensing history to make sure if they're licensed, you can see if they've had any complaints and licensing violations, and really doing due diligence to find childcare and find one that really meets your needs as a parent.
Hey, this is a great place to take a break. We'll be back with more of the show right after this.
Mixed Ground Coffee, founded in 2020, is where culture builds community. Located in San Diego's Logan Heights district, this Vietnamese-owned micro-roastery brings you the world's finest beans, roasted in small batches. Mixed Grounds is proud to present I Just Wanted to Push Record on the Olas Media Network, celebrating arts, community, and culture.
Like we talk about in the show, there are a lot that goes into a successful podcast, more than just pushing record. Whether you're new or seasoned, if you're looking for someone to make your great show idea a reality, then we've got your back. Check us out at olasmedia.com and see how we can help you push record on your next big project.
You know, it's funny. It seems like anyone who's anyone is writing a book, sitting on a board, or producing a podcast. Now, I'm not one to poke my chest out like a peacock, but I have actually done all three. My book was tough work, months and months of writing and rewriting and revisions, and the board work, while rewarding, well, it comes with a dedication and commitment unlike anything else. The podcast, on the other hand, is a bit different. Sitting down with your friends and thought-leading colleagues to talk not only about shop, but some of their most interesting life experiences that spill over into their professional role. From climbing Mount Kilimanjaro to playing on the PGA Tour, there is nothing like hearing a moving story straight from the source. That's why I'm inviting you to listen to the latest episode of From the Nest with me, Charity Jen, author, digital fundraising strategist, mom, and martini lover. And yes, they have all made the topics of discussion on my show. Listen to From the Nest with Charity Jen. Subscribe today at olasmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And now let's jump back into that conversation.
Now, I'm sure that there are some employees and hopefully employers that are listening, that will be listening to this podcast, that hear about the cost and they're saying to themselves, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
I can't afford that."
Yeah.
You know, and so they'll be negotiating maybe with their union, and their union will say, "Hey, we want to negotiate for this." What is there an alternative for a company?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an alternative for the families and the companies. For the families, when they call us for childcare referrals, we'll ask them if they need help paying for childcare, and we'll get them set up to apply for childcare subsidies, which is called alternative payment in San Diego, or we can help them find a location that actually has direct funding from the state, either as a state preschool or a Head Start program or a general childcare program that has state funding. And those subsidies, if they get alternative payment, they can take that funding to any childcare of their choice. It could be a center, a family childcare home, a family friend and neighbor, a nanny, you name it. But we do set them up with that, and so we do that for anybody that contacts our childcare referral line or applies online. There's a separate website for that. And then for employers, not every employer is ready to invest in childcare benefit, a childcare stipend, but we will provide the childcare navigation, help them find the childcare program that matches their needs, help them apply for the subsidy if that's something that they're interested in, and walk them through choosing a childcare provider that best meets their needs. We can do all of that for nothing. I mean, we're funded by the state to do that. So obviously we want families to take advantage of the subsidies and the childcare services that are out there that we offer.
So it sounds like what you're saying is, my mother used to tell me, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so all you have to do is bring it up, and let's see how we can work this type of thing out. Whether you're with a union or not with a union, there's a child care program that will probably fit in to whatever an employee has. I
mean, we would ideally love for more employers to be like March and Ash and pay for portions of their employees' child care. But if that's not possible, at least tap into the resources and the services that are in your community to hopefully get you set up.
From a union standpoint, what's the type of feedback you get from the employees?
Oh, what I hear, they love it. They love it. One thing unique about this program is kind of the way we created it. It created an overall program. So a lot of the union employees, they get to use the program. It's in the contract. But also, the non-union employees, like managers, they get to use that also.
So it's not just for the hourly employees, it's for salary. It's for everybody.
It's for everybody. Salary employees also.
Yeah. I'm not in the union, but I appreciate you guys. But no, I think that a company that does have a program like this, your employees feel supported and they want to do good for you too. So like if you're a company kind of struggling to keep people at work or just kind of always having people out, and it's probably a big thing is number one would be probably childcare or things, your child's sick or something. But it does keep the employees feel just super supportive and like you have their back. So they come to work because they have that support from their owners and their managers and union. YMCA.
Right. I mean, childcare is one of the biggest barriers to being able to go to work on a daily basis. If you don't have childcare, and you're piecemealing it together, it's very likely that you might have to call out. Having a benefit that supports their employees with paying for the childcare and getting them set up with childcare, which getting set up with childcare is free. It definitely helps with absenteeism, being present at work, staying with an employer. I mean, if you have a benefit like this at your current employer, would you leave or not? I mean, that's extra money in your pocket.
Yeah, when you think about that, as a union, I deal with a lot of employees and their challenges many times. And throughout my career over the last 23 years, like a lot of employees come to me, hey, I'm in trouble. I didn't go to work. Why? I couldn't get childcare. I couldn't come in. They called me. Now they're mad at me. They're treating me like bad because when they called me, I couldn't come to work because I didn't have childcare a day. I expected to be at home with them. And that's a major challenge, for many employees and workers everywhere, this childcare component.
That's an important point that you just brought up, Grant, because it sounds like having a childcare program will avoid some discipline issues that might arise.
Yeah, it does a lot. And, when you think about it, like with medical, when people don't show up, there's a calculation how much is lost per day. It's like the metrics around that are incredible when you look at it. And it depends on what the company or the industry does. And they can calculate how many hours lost is how much profit and how much performance is lost. And so there's, they try to be proactive and there's programs to kind of like help that along. And there's different trackings and different ways of trying to improve that. But when it comes down to a big part of why people don't show up, the root cause, why they don't show up, it has to do with childcare. Because, you got single parents like, hey, it's just me. I don't have any relatives in town. What am I going to do? I can't afford that. I can't find anybody. So they call in sick. Yeah.
So I think that there was an award or some kind of contest that was won recently by March and Nash.
Yeah, San Diego Business Journal just had an award ceremony the week before, and the YMCA March and Nash won a joint award for nonprofit and business sector, innovation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's magnificent.
It's really
and
cool.
it was strictly for like the childcare program.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wow. So, Candice, what any types of stories you have about your childcare experience with your young one?
Well, I just know, I had no clue about childcare even after I had a kid. And just knowing, and it was just perfect timing that this program became available to all March and Nash employees the same time I was coming back from maternity leave, trying to figure out how to do it ourselves and then finding out that this is an option. I didn't really even have to do research and look into it. I just called our number that was provided for us for the YMCA. I talked to a lovely lady named Annabelle on the phone, and she pretty much said, you don't worry, I will do this for you. Just tell me what kind of program you're looking for. And the first time it was just with our nanny. And so she was like, give me your nanny's contact information, and she set it all up for us. It was just incredibly easy. And so from there on, I can't not use this program. It just, and then for going into school, it was a little different, but she was basically able to kind of walk us through. And if we didn't answer a phone call or email, she was calling us, making sure that if what else she can do to get this through, so we're not paying our full amount, and just gets the help from him. And so I just think like great experiences, being able to not feel stressed about trying to bring my child somewhere, or making sure I can go to work so I can provide, for the other things my child needs as they grow. It's just been an awesome program, and just like you can breathe now, and that your child is with a responsible caregiver, that you're not stressing about at work, and you feel like that your kid's in a safe place and you're able to do what you got to do.
I think the some of the points that you just made, Candice, are hugely important. I mean, it relieves a lot of stress that the employee has on the job, because this is taken care of, and also from the standpoint of the cost. I think, Laurie, we were talking a little bit earlier about. I think you put a figure out there for a young one from 0
to 2.
0 to 2.
Yeah, the average in San Diego County in a center-based program is $1,747 a month, and in a licensed family child care home, the average is $1,457 a month. That's the average. So as you can tell, there's more. Wow. There's some that are more, and there's some that are less, but that is a lot of money for someone that had 9 months to prepare for.
Were you saying earlier, that
it's more than SDSU's tuition? My niece is a
it
freshman
really?
at SDSU.
It's more than college?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Man,
it's more than a college semester.
It's more than a year's worth of SDSU
a year's
college,
worth.
Yes.
So not a semester.
No.
2 semesters.
Oh my God.
It's a lot, and it's a huge burden. And that's why, we want people to know, like, even if your employer is not able to, help with the cost of care, like March and Ashes, still call us. We can try and help get people enrolled into the subsidy. And even those that are in, receiving the stipend from March and Ash, they might still be eligible for the alternative payment program, which would pay for the majority of their care. And then March and Ash could pay what is considered a copay, which is when your care costs more than what the state will allow you to reimburse for alternative payment.
And is that copay, that's an interesting word you just used, is that copay what the union negotiates?
No. The union negotiated child care benefits.
Just the benefit itself?
Yeah.
Okay, then how is the amount that's paid, how is that dealt with respect to the union?
At that time, Brett and I would discuss there was a percentage that was allocated for the program. Yeah.
And so it's every employee, like Candice mentioned, gets $4,500 a year towards the cost of their care.
Okay, and if you're not union and you're an employee at a particular company, does it depend upon then your salary or your income?
Other employers that pay for childcare might pay just a flat rate, $2,000 a year or something. Some might pay for all of it. It really just depends on the employer and what they're capable of covering it as far as expenses. But we, no amount is too low.
Wow. I am shocked. I mean, my days of having a young one are long gone. So I don't have that to worry about. However, I'm just thinking about a young couple that get together and maybe they both have some, college debt, and they're trying to get a house, they're trying to pay for groceries, and they have a young mouth to feed. Yeah. And not only do they have that young mouth to feed, but they have to do some daycare. So they got to make some decisions.
Yeah.
Right? Do we both work but we both pretty much have to work.
Yeah.
To keep up with our expenses. So it's good to know that there's a resource for them to be able to take advantage of to maybe alleviate some of that cost.
Yeah. I mean, childcare is one of the biggest reasons why women leave the workforce, is because the expense and the access to it is so incredible. We also do hear about families that do, opposing shifts where maybe mom works during the day and dad works at night, or, your partner works opposite shift for you, which then means you might not need childcare, but then you're also never together as a
You
family.
never see each other.
You know.
Next thing you know, you're in divorce court. Huh? Okay. Well, great. Listen, it's been magnificent working with all of you. And, before we sign off, I'd like to go around and, get some final words from, start with you, Laurie, in terms of the why. What would you like to leave with our listening audience?
I would love for any employee that needs childcare, any person in San Diego County that needs childcare to reach out to my organization, Childcare Resource Service, to get childcare services, whether that's finding a childcare or getting help applying for subsidies. Even if they work for an employer that they hope will pay for benefits, then they can definitely reach out also, and we'll get them hooked up with something similar to what we do for March and Ash. And if they cannot pay for a portion of the childcare, we can at least provide our services. We can go on site to their businesses to let their employees know about the different childcare options that are available and subsidies. So.
And how would someone get in touch with you?
Oh, well, I have an email, which
Okay.
is lhan@ymcasd.org, or my phone number is 619-837-8013.
Okay, all right. And let me go over to Candice. Candice, if a parent wants to get some parent-to-parent, type of, advice on this, how would they contact you?
Yeah, sure. I'm definitely open to answering any questions from new parents. And I do also want to really encourage any March and Ash employees that haven't looked into this yet, that have kids, go for it. Even if you do have a good thing set up right now, they could also help just those payments. But I would just say the best way to reach me would be my email. It's Candice, CANDICE @marchandash.com. Shoot me your questions. We could also jump on the call if you want.
And what was so very cute about Candice is I asked her, I think, a little bit of word about, I may have mentioned her son, and she picked up her phone, and he's on the picture on her phone. So that's very cute. And she's showing it again to everybody.
There he is right there.
Cute. He's so cute.
Oh, boy.
So this is who you're helping.
This is who you're helping.
That is awesome.
Okay. Thank you very much, Candice. And for our union, Grant and Maribel, what would you, what words would you leave with our audience concerning employers or employees to maybe discuss that don't have a union, or to discuss with their union about getting child care benefits?
For myself, Maribel McKinze, as an organizer and political director, this is something that we were able to negotiate and add on to a contract. But even along with that, just like Candice says, definitely encourage those members that have not signed up for it or were not aware of it, encourage them to look more into it and even ask some questions. There might not be able to get into some programs, but obviously that's something that is covered, is in the contract. They do have something that does help them out. And just like with the YMCA, they might have other programs that they might be able to help them with. So I strongly encourage them to look a little bit more into that. And sometimes we don't even know what we have until we really need it. Just like Candice, right? 2 years ago, maybe she wouldn't have even thought about needing this. No.
2 years ago, she didn't have a child, though.
That's why I'm saying.
Yeah. And then when it happens, then it really becomes real. And you're like, how am I going to do this?
I like the way she says that. Then when it happens.
But no, I definitely encourage people to look into it and look more into the benefits that you have that's been able to get put in a contract. And anybody out there that is interested in organizing, especially in the cannabis industry, please feel free to reach out to me.
How would they reach out to you?
I have two ways. My email, which is mmckinze, so mmckinze @ufcw135.com, or my cell phone number is 619-548-3250. Call or text at any time.
Okay. Grant?
Yeah. A lot of people think, union is kind of scary, especially from an employer's perspective, but it's not like that. Like Maribel's our political director, I run the union. We have resources. If you need something, we can help. especially in this day and age. It's like, legitimizing, people's careers, cannabis and all that. We can make things happen. And it's like we can create that together. And just, Laurie, thanks for sharing, Candice, the results of what we've done. I think we've done great things. And you know what? The employer, the investment in the employees, and the union, we're the employees pretty much. It's like, you know what? It can bear really great fruit and bring success. And
well, thank you, everybody.
welcome. Thank you.
I really appreciate all of you coming in and sharing this information. I know it's going to be very, very vital. People listening to this are going to say, wow, I got to get into this right away. Laurie, thank you from the YMCA. And Candice, thank you very much from March and Ash and your young son. Tell him he was a star today. And Grant and Maribel from UFCW here. Thank you once again. Thank you. Like a 1-2 punch, right? It's hard to say no to the two of you. Thank you very much. And thank all of you for listening to Cannabis Enlightened. This is Dr. Leroy. And if you'd want to listen to this podcast and all the podcasts that I have, take your time, get on and see cannabisenlightened.com. And if you'd like to leave me, write me something, email talking about this particular program, you can email me at drleroy@cannabisenlightened.com. Thank you very much and have a great week.
Thanks for listening to Cannabis Enlightened. Be sure to follow and subscribe whenever you listen to your podcasts. To read the blog associated with this episode, visit olasmedia.com. This episode was produced in studios located in San Diego, California and Tijuana, Baja California. Creative Director Ulises Breton. Sound Engineer Alan Glespar. Producer Lena Alvarez. Serving as Executive Producer and Co-Founder is JC Polk, and Chad Peace is President and Co-Founder. Olas Media is an IVC media company.